Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Karen Koza-Phillips. C-News is live at noon. Topping the news at this time, well, the wait is almost over. The secondary entrance assessment examination results will be released tomorrow, Tuesday, 4th July 2017. The Ministry of Education says all primary school principals are advised to collect their SCA results from their respective education district offices at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. These results are expected to be released in schools from approximately 10 a.m. The ministry said students and parents will receive a student's performance report, placement slip, and the SCA information booklet containing frequently asked questions regarding SCA. Now, a total of 18,180 students wrote the examination. This comprised 9,154 males and 9,026 female students. The continuous assessment component CAC, which was implemented in 2013, was discontinued in 2016. In 2017, 3 subjects were assessed: creative writing, mathematics, and English language. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Social and Welfare Association is working with stakeholders to hear their views on allowing female Muslim officers to wear their hijabs while on duty. The association is meeting with ASJA today and is scheduled to meet with the Commissioner of Police on Wednesday. General Secretary of the association, Anand Ramasa, says if needed, the association will go to the Equal Opportunities Commission to have this measure to be installed.
There is a position of the association that the call of our fellow officers who are of the Muslim faith, who want their hijab, that has to be considered in a real context and appreciate what the context in which they are asking for it to be worn. From an early position of the association, we are supporting these officers, and our position is to meet with the stakeholders and articulate a way forward.
A video showing a mentally ill man being shot by police has now surfaced on social media. According to police, an investigation has been launched into the matter. The unidentified man was killed at around 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. Police have so far said they responded to a report of a man armed with a cutlass at JTA Supermarket crossing San Fernando. The man reportedly removed the cutlass from a plastic bag and began speaking in an incoherent manner. Police say they warned him several times to put down the cutlass and he refused. Police say he also threatened them with a bottle. They said the man began to walk away and was followed by officers to Piedmont Boulevard Union Hall. The video shows what took place from there. Another vehicle pulled in front of the man, who immediately ran up to the said police officers, firing 2 chops. The officer managed to evade the chops, which as a result hit the right side front door of the vehicle. The officer came from another car, and when he was attacked, he pulled out his gun and fired a shot in the direction of the man. Well, police officers have welcomed the decision taken by the Prime Minister to hire 60 new crime scene investigators. This announcement was made last week, while the representing Police Service Social and Welfare Association says it was not consulted up until this point on the matter. There is need to hire more CSIs.
We are aware that for too long, the homicide department has suffered from shortage of personnel. Not just CSI, you have shortages in relation to detectives. You have problems in terms of inadequate accommodation for homicide officers, and I could put the Southern Department of the Homicide on the spotlight. Too long they have been asking for a relocation.
His one concern was accommodation of these officers, and he's asking those in charge to look into this matter.
Numbers and have persons like sardines in containers and expect them to function. You are going to get a very small return compared to what a person's potential to perform the duties that they are hired for.
This is the C-News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com. or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C-News Live. The president of the Truckers and Traders Association says he's happy 2 new vessels to service the Seabridge will be here this month. However, he's calling for compensation. Horace Hamid said when the Galicia left, his members would have lost money and items due to the challenges they faced.
We will have to use the badge to get on to the Kobo Star. And up to now, we can't understand why you removed the Galicia, which was $14,000, and now you are paying $22,000 US a day.
He told us what the compensation would be for.
Yeah, we are looking at compensation for loss of earnings, compensation back for the air travel, and things like that.
2 people drowned while bathing at Maracas Bay. They are 50-year-old Premchand Ramlal of Faizabad and 53-year-old Sandra Singh of Penal. Now, police say at around 7 p.m. on Sunday, the two, along with a group of relatives, were bathing when they got into difficulties. 3 relatives were rescued, but Ramlal and Singh disappeared beneath the waves. Singh's body resurfaced minutes later and she was taken to the Port of Spain General Hospital. However, she was pronounced dead on arrival. At around 10:30 p.m., Ramlal's body washed ashore. Meanwhile, 47-year-old David Sigubin drowned while bathing in the Matura River. That incident took place at around 3 p.m. on Sunday. Sigubin lived at Tabakit Road, New Grants. The Single Fathers Association says it wants to get in contact with the father of the child who was abused by a woman, as it says it wants to assist over the weekend after a video went viral on social media. It showed the cursing, abusing and carrying around a nude toddler out to the roadway where she left him, and it went viral on social media. The woman was detained by police on Sunday.
President of the Single Fathers Association, Rondell Fields, is not blaming the father of the child for what took place. He's blaming the court system. Minister of Gender and Child Affairs Ayanna Webster Roy confirmed officers of the Child Protection Unit intervened and removed the child seen in the video. Mr. Fields said the child should be placed in the care of his father.
From some of the reports I've seen, I saw the father was at the police station, and they're saying that they have to do checks on the father as well. No problem with that, but the father is the first line that they need to go to, no one else. The problem that we're seeing here is something that we've been lamenting at the Single Fathers Association for a very long time. It's the lack of post-judgment follow-up. After a court order is made, the judiciary gets totally disconnected with the scenario.
Mr. Fields noted from his information, the child's maternal grandmother said the child's father had made several attempts to get the child in his custody. However, that proved futile. He said this lack of concern from the judiciary has placed children in danger to the extent that some have been murdered.
They've made a judgment, it's supposed to last for 18 years, and that's the end of it right there. And that is the issue that we're having. We saw some years ago Mr. Selvon Reyes from the Locketa area had to bury his 2 children and bury their mother after a magistrate did the very same thing. What we are saying is that there must be post-follow-up to these judgments being made to ensure that the child is being taken care of.
Mr. Fields went on to say the general thought is that mothers are better caretakers. He said this is not always the case.
They do not exercise what is supposed to be internationally or universally known as a case-by-case basis. Judge a case for its merit. And that is the problem that we're seeing with our judicial system. That is the problem we've been lamenting for years, and we still can't see up to today, once those reports are accurate, that this is what has taken place in this scenario and caused this child to be abused.
Mr. Fields said his association will provide help for the father and son if required at no cost. Rishi Harinanan, CNews.
Now for the weather, mainly hazy with a few cloudy patches and intermittent showery interruptions. There is a small chance of the thunder shower in a few areas. Gusty winds, street and flash flooding can accompany heavy showers and thunder showers. Seas are slight to normal. Waves are up to 2 meters in open waters, near calm in sheltered areas. Advocacy group Fixin T&T has again called on the opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar to advise President Anthony Carmona to revoke the senatorial appointment of Gerald Ramdeen. It says anything less is just a continuation of her hypocritical charade. Fixin T&T said surely Mrs. Persad-Bissessar is aware that Mr. Ramdeen remains the subject of at least one criminal investigation and has at minimum as many clouds hanging over him as does Miss Marlene MacDonald. Fixin T&T said it is both bemused and amused by Mrs. Persad-Bissessar's questioning of the judgment of the Prime Minister. The statement comes a day after Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar was quoting as saying the Prime Minister restored Ms. MacDonald to ministerial office even as she was under active investigation by both the Integrity Commission and the police, and whilst concerns continue to be expressed about her fitness for office. The body said the same can be said about Mr. Ramdeen. Political analyst Dr. Winford James says one cannot completely write off Marlene MacDonald and her political career. This even as she was fired just 2 days after being reappointed a government minister. Dr. James says while it may be difficult for her, anything can happen in politics.
The action of the Prime Minister, well, first of all, the action of Marlene MacDonald and as a consequence, Dr. Rowley's actions, raised the question of whether she should continue holding other positions. For example, the position of Deputy Leader of the PNM for Legislative Matters, and I believe she's chair of certain joint select committees in the Parliament. So those questions arise.
On Thursday, Dr. James said Ms. MacDonald's reappointment to cabinet was something waiting to happen, and when it did, it was a slap in the face to members of the United National Congress. While he defended this statement.
The Prime Minister, well, I didn't use those words, but I say it was a slap in the face of the opposition, meaning that the opposition actually got away scot-free in their misdemeanor, if you wish, but Marlene did not. Obviously, of course, there were other charges against Marlene. So it was a slap in that sense that the Prime Minister apparently was waiting to show that it's not only they can behave in that way, they could behave in that way and do so with impunity.
Former Minister of National Security Gary Griffith says it's time to stop giving criminals government contracts, as this contributes to the crime situation. Marlene MacDonald was fired as Minister of Public Utilities on Sunday, most likely because one of her guests, who was present at the swearing-in ceremony, was arrested by police in 2010 under the anti-gang legislation.
When these individuals infiltrate into the government and they get the state contracts, they are not community leaders. They are not the Robin Hoods. These people, that is fungus. That is the cockroaches when people claim I shouldn't have said it. But this plays a very big part towards the catalyst of homicides in the country. When life sport was shut down, the members of my own cabinet, they drew against me when I kept stating that it should be shut down. But there were over 20-odd homicides that were directly related to life sport. And we have the same situation here.
Mr. Griffith offered a recommendation to the Prime Minister when it comes to government contracts.
I would recommend to the Prime Minister, all that is required is to go to the SSA. There's a list that is very thick, very long, and it will show all the number of community gang members who have state contracts. And what you need to do is similar to what I did, to go to Cabinet, go to the National Security Council, cut that financial cord and prevent any gang member or any person involved in criminal activity from having state contracts. It plays a very big part towards crime reduction.
The All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union is encouraging the Oilfield Workers Trade Union to stand strong and to continue the battle to ensure that the government come clean with the people of this country regarding Petrotrin. Its President General Nirvan Maharaj said the problem with Petrotrin is not the union or workforce, it is the management of the company to prevent wastage, corruption and ensure proper maintenance of all facilities. He said the selling of the assets of Petrotrin and the privatization of the company will be a blow not only to our national pride and our economic welfare, but we have to ensure that certain key public utilities and industries always remain in the hands of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. He said support must be given because we must never again allow any group of workers to suffer the pain, misery and frustration similar to what the workers of Caroni 1975 Limited faced. Archbishop Barbara Burke of the Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith is the new president of the Interreligious Organization of Trinidad and Tobago. She replaces Brother Hari Prasad Maharaj, who is now a trustee. The election for the IRO took place on Thursday, 29th June 2017 at Astra Complex, Charleville. The first vice president is Pundit Lakshmidat Prasad Maharaj of the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha and second vice president Dr. Ellis Burris of the Baha'i Faith. Their term will run from July 2017 to June 2018. To the TT Pro League now, where San Juan Jablate jumped to the top of the standings with a 2-0 win over St. Anne's Rangers, reaching 10 points, one more than W Connections, who lost their unbeaten run in stunning fashion against Police. The lawmen, who were winless coming into this one, certainly did not look like the underdogs, as they took the fight to the Savanetta boys and came close on a number of occasions. It was a recurring theme, especially in the first half, when they literally laid siege on the Connections' citadel. Still, they had nothing to show for all their enterprise when the first half ended goalless. But that would change in dramatic fashion when the ball bounced off defender Gerald Williams in the 55th and nestled in his own net for the only goal of the game. Connections tried to answer but just couldn't find the back of the net as Police held on for the upset win, their first of the season. And that's how we end the CNews Report at noon. I'm Karen Koze-Phillip. But before we go, the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, will host a media conference at 3 p.m. today, Monday, 3rd July 2017, at the office of the Prime Minister. We will have coverage of what is said throughout the afternoon. And remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the CNews website at ctvtt.com. Do have a good afternoon.